competition, and you can actually become a part of AggieLand Professionals. Now, we've got a lot of applications that are at each table, and if you need an application or if you're a guest here today, would you go ahead and just raise your hand, and somebody at your table will make sure to get you an application. So if we could just take a minute, you can help me with that. Aaron has some more applications if we run out. Okay, we need one over here. We need one at that table back there. Everybody get an application. And you know what? I want you to go ahead and get your pen out, and we're going to go through these applications together. So I want you to just take the time to go ahead and fill this out, but we're going to do it together. Now, we'll tell you this. In a BNI chapter, there's what we call a membership committee. Looks like we need another one over here. In a BNI chapter, there is what we call the membership committee. And the membership committee are the group of people. There are about 4 of those people. And they're going to look at every application that comes in. And they're going to approve or not approve the application that you turn in today. And that group is going to be meeting immediately after this to take your applications and look at them so that by next week we can get you plugged into this chapter. So we want you to go ahead and start working on this. So let's look it over together. The first thing that you want to do is up in the upper left-hand corner where it says Part 1, put in today's date. Does anybody know what today's date is?
12.
April 12th, that's right. April 12th, 2011. Be sure and put that in. And then right below that is the chapter name. And you need to put that in there. It's AggieLand Professionals. So go ahead and write that in, AggieLand Professionals. And then there's a place, of course, for your name, your business name, address, all that information. And I'm going to give you a minute to go ahead and fill that out and put that in. So just put in your name, address, and phone number. Or your business address, city, state, zip code. Now right below that is one of the most important boxes on the whole application. And out to the side, you want to put an asterisk where it says, describe your product or services. Please do not write in there right now. Right now, just put an asterisk out to the side, because what we need you to do is to identify that specifically. So, because we only allow one person per profession, we're very specific about what your product and services are. So, for instance, we may have an attorney, but that attorney may be a family attorney. We may have a business attorney. We may have a real estate attorney. We may have another type of attorney. So because it's very specific in category, you want to make sure that you identify something in particular. We have a realtor. So we may have a commercial realtor. We may have a residential realtor. We may have a property management person. So it's very specific. You want to keep that in mind. Now, below that is where it says sponsor's name. And just as Charlie mentioned, you're going to need a sponsor. So who invited you? Who invited you to come today? You want to write their name. If you don't have somebody, maybe you got it off of the internet or wherever, then leave that blank and we'll take care of that when somebody at your table will talk to you about that. Okay, now let's go to the right-hand side. The right-hand side is more information about your website address. Please put your website address in there if you have one. Your email address. And we do want to be able to email you. We want to be able to be in contact with you so that you know what's going on in the chapter and what's happening. So we definitely need that information. And then also we need your business phone or your cell phone. And please put that in there so that we can be in contact with you. Every now and then, about once every 7 years, it snows. And so if it snows, we actually have a snow day and the chapter doesn't meet for some reason, then we need to be able to contact you and let you know that. We don't sell your list, your name, list to anybody. All that stuff is kept for us, so we don't do that. Now, anytime you become a member of a BNI chapter, you make a commitment. You make a financial commitment as well as a time commitment. And making both of those are pretty critical to your success as a BNI member and getting referrals. And so in the next box, it talks about the investment that you're going to make financially. And you have a choice to either sign up for a year or to sign up for 2 years. Now, if you sign up for a year, it is $365 membership fee plus the $100 registration fee. If you decide to sign up for 2 years, then it would be $565 for a 2-year membership plus a $100 registration fee. Let me tell you about that. Let me just give you kind of a quick story on that one. That's kind of important. I told you that the membership committee is going to be looking at these immediately after the meeting today to decide about who's coming into the chapter and who's not. Well, let's say that your competition is sitting right here. Let's say that there happens to be another website designer, or there's a veterinarian, or there's somebody else sitting here that's your competition. So all things being equal, if your references check out and their references check out and everything looks good, but they decided to commit to 2 years, you decided just to commit to 1 year, what do you think that message says to us as a chapter about your level of commitment?
Loyalty.
So you might want to think about what level of commitment you want to make, because in fact there have been times when maybe even the best person didn't get chosen simply because they only made a 1-year commitment. And I've been in BNI for 7 years, and it is worth the commitments that I made to it. I'm delighted to be here. I wouldn't be here today. So you want to keep that in mind. Now, right below that is a place for your signature. Would you please sign that right now? Because so many times we get these back and you've forgotten to put your signature. So just sign your application right now. Now the next part is the part 2. I want to talk to you just a little bit about this. This is kind of important. This is the process that's going to happen. As I've kind of mentioned it, the membership committee is going to look at it. They're going to check out the references. They're going to call the people that you put on them as references. We're going to look at how long you've been in business. We're going to look at the things that you put down. So there's a process that we actually go through. If your application is accepted, then by sometime next week, we'll call you and let you know your application has been accepted. We meet every Tuesday at lunch. Come on in. If your application is not accepted, your application, your payment, everything that you gave us will be given back to you. So everything is completely refundable if you're not accepted into the chapter. So there's no risk about you losing money because you didn't get accepted. Now, part 3 gives us a little information about you. And it just says experience in field or occupation. In other words, how long have you been doing what you're doing? How long have you been in that profession? Number 2, your education background in the field or occupation or degrees, licenses, credentials required to perform your field or occupation. We just want to know what your certifications are. I know with financial advisors and realtors, a lot of times there are several certifications that they have. Now, what is this starting to look like? Job application, resume, is that right? Well, that's exactly right. You know why? Because we're building professional relationships. We want to know who we're doing business with. And we want to make sure that you feel credible and we feel credible about the kind of person that we have brought into the chapter. We only want to bring people into the chapter that we know are going to be good at what they do. So that brings us down to part 4. Number 1 is the occupation under which you're applying for membership, full-time or part-time. Well, that's important. Is this a part-time job or a hobby that you've gotten into, or is it your full-time position? This is what you do. Because part of what we're asking for is your commitment. And if you've got 2 full-time jobs, wow, you're going to be able to satisfy the time commitment to show up every week and take care of your networking responsibilities. Number 2, how long have you been with the company that you're representing? Just tell us how long. You know, when I first came into BNI, I had only been in that business for a few months. And so, just because you may have been in for just a few months doesn't mean that you're not going to be accepted. But it does give us an idea how long you've been doing whatever it is you're doing. Number 3, are you able and willing to make the commitment to arrive at our weekly meetings on time and stay throughout the 90 minutes, attend the Membership Success Program training, and are you willing to abide by BNI policies, guidelines, and code of ethics? We just want you to say yes. We're asking you the questions because it's just like that drug deal and that sex deal with your kids. If you're not asking questions, somebody else is. And so we're asking questions about what your level of commitment is. Number 4, is there an individual in your company who would be willing to attend the meeting on your behalf should you be unable to attend? And that kind of brings us back to the attendance policy. And one of the things that makes BNI so powerful is our attendance policy. As a matter of fact, our members love our attendance policy because they know week after week the same people are going to be showing up. You know, the last thing that you want to do is go to some networking group. Oh, I thought she was going to be there. Where is she? Well, she comes every now and then. Where is he? I thought he was going to be here. I've got a referral for them. Well, they're not here very regular. But BNI has an attendance policy. We want you to be here because when you're here, then we can hear your 60-second introduction, and that visibility creates credibility, which turns into profitability. So if you can't be here, then BNI allows you to miss 3 times over a 6-month period. And the way we help you with that is what we call a substitute policy. Now, I'm not sure who it was, but I think it was you. Would you stand? Just turn around, look at everybody. Let them look at you. She is a substitute. Somebody couldn't make it today, but they were represented by a substitute who would have had their introduction written out and could have spoken it. And so that's the attendance policy. We want to make sure that you're up to that and that you're ready to commit to that. So thank you. We had us up today. The next one, would you, this is a good one, number 6. What is your ability to bring qualified referrals or visitors? You know, one of the things that we want to know is if you're going to come into this, we want to generate referrals for you, but we want to make sure that you can generate referrals for us as well. Now, you may be sitting there saying, Scott, I'm not sure that I know really how to get referrals and bring them, and I've never done this before. I'm a little bit nervous. Well, we have a thing called the Membership Success Training that is a free training for you that teaches you, and we will teach you how to find and bring referrals into the chapter so that over a period of a few months, it becomes second nature to you. Now, number 7, have you ever been a member of a BNI chapter? If yes, please list. We'd like to know. Number 8, do you belong to other networking organizations? Now, this is kind of important. And it's important because we'd like for you to be a member of Chamber of Commerce or the Rotary or the Lions Club or some other things. We would like for you to be a part of that. But if you're a member of another BNI chapter, well, you can't be a member of 2 BNI chapters. You can only be a member of 1 BNI chapter. And you're doing that because you're building relationships, professional networking relationships. And so you don't want to divide your loyalties in building those professional networking relationships. So we just want to know. Now, let's turn the application over. And on the back side, this tells you a little bit about our code of ethics. We actually have a code of ethics. And when you are inducted into the chapter, we'll ask you to raise your right hand and your left foot. And we will induct you into AggieLand Professionals, and this is what we'll say. I provide the quality of services at the prices I've quoted. I will be truthful with the members and their referrals. I will build goodwill and trust among members and their referrals. I will take responsibility for following up on the referrals that I receive. I will display a positive and supportive attitude, and I will live up to the ethical standards of my profession. I don't know if you're catching on here, but we're pretty serious about this. And we really do want to invite ethical professionals just like you to become a part of an already strong chapter who feels that same way. So we have that. Now, part 5, underneath that, is a place for you to list your business references. And we do need your business references. We need to know a client that has done business with you, that when we call them, they will say, you know what? Bill's a good guy. Bill does what he says he'll do, and his prices are fair and straight. Man, I recommend him. Now, you don't want to put on there somebody who'd be a bad reference. And we had a story about a guy up in Michigan. He kept getting turned down. He went to several BNI chapters and put his references there, and he kept getting turned down. And he went to the area director, and he said, man, what's the deal? You know, I've made applications to several chapters. My thumbs up at the BBB, everything's good. And said, but my references never check out. And they said, well, who are you putting down for your references? Well, my ex-wife, her attorney. And they said, well, maybe you ought to change that. So you might not want to use your ex-wife's attorney as one of your references. Put down somebody that when we call, and we'll call, put them down so that they can give you a positive recommendation. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So hopefully you've already started working on your application. And I want to give the opportunity for the people at our tables, some of the members, I'd like for all of our members just to raise your hand. If you're a member here. Okay, great. Members, I'd like to give you the opportunity to help anybody at your table answer some of their questions about this application. We're going to give you about another 5 or 10 minutes to work on that. If you have questions, we do take credit cards, we take checks, and if, I know that sometimes, how many of you sometimes you need to talk to the boss? And you may be married to the boss. The boss may be married to you. We need a credit card slip or a check or something to start your application. But if you don't have that right now, up at the top where it says, up the top over your financial investment, you can say check on the way or I'm checking with the boss. That's fine. But I want to encourage you to submit your application today because your competition is. And we want to lock out your competition so that you can become a part of AggieLand Professionals. Okay, well, let's get to work on it. Why don't you come up and just have a good word with us, John.
Again, I'm John Magruder with Magruder Homes. I probably assume a lot of y'all are drinking the BNI Kool-Aid by now, which I drink it by the gallon. I've been in the organization a little under 3 years, and my closed business is over $500,000. So it's something really to think about. We meet every Tuesday here at Christopher's from 12 o'clock to 1:30. So it's a time commitment, but it's very important for y'all to be here. And obviously we talked about how we've netted results from all of that. And also on the applications, you can see that the first year is $365 if you do 1 year. The second year is $565. So there's a little bit of savings if you do 2 years. So y'all please go ahead and submit your applications. If you're thinking about it, you're thinking the right way, don't hesitate. Don't let somebody else get to you first. Get to